Hi guys, it's Eileen from Now There's a Crafty Idea, and I'm here with a new video, and I've missed you so much. Hopefully all the technical issues are sorted and we're back to normal, so hopefully they're going to happen, so that's great. So I showed you a quick peek at what I'm working on now, and this is a tea journal. Well, I'm making two tea journals, and these have been in the mix, oh my word, months. I started these before I had the YouTube channel, so since last year. And they got put away and put into a box and forgotten about, and when I was recently tidying up I found them and I was like, oh, I really do have to get them finished because they are beautiful, and I did completely forget about them. And then when I got them out, I was thinking, oh, you know, it'll be great to film a full series of me making them. But when I've looked at them, I didn't realise how far I'd gotten on actually making them. So the actual signatures are put together, and I've got a certain amount of ephemera already made. And to be honest with you, there's not a lot left to do other than make the covers and make sure everything's where it needs to be. And then I need to sew them in and then make sure there's enough ephemera and put the ephemera in. So yeah, so it's only going to be a couple, maybe 3 videos. I'm not sure, we'll see, because like I say, I'm not exactly sure exactly how far I've got with them. There may be some things that we're going to do with them, but anyway, it'll be nice to go back through and see the things that I was making before I started the channel, because these were kind of some of the first junk journals that I ever made. I mean, I made quite a few before I started the channel, but these ones were put away and I just absolutely love them. And the kit that I've used is called Tea Party, and it's from Allegradesign, and that's all one word. I'll put a link below so that you can go and check it out, because the digital itself is quite beautiful. I mean, the pages are absolutely gorgeous, and let me find, and the ephemera is superb, it's fantastic. But yeah, there's some absolutely gorgeous pages and digitals, and just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it is like complete elegance, you know. Look at that, I'm like, so cute, they're so beautiful, and I love French macaroons. Yeah, so yeah, give the kit a look, because it is beautiful, and I really enjoyed fussy cutting all the ephemera out, because there was some fantastic ephemera with it as well, which you'll see over the time of me making these. So I'll put these aside and we'll get on with the cover. Now, I have already made one cover because I wasn't exactly sure I was going to do it, and I wanted to give it a go, and I'll be honest with you, I was just itching to get on and I couldn't stop myself. I should have waited for years. I know this. But honestly, I just couldn't. I was just so itching to get on, and the camera was all dodgy, and so I ended up making it. But we're going to make another one, so don't worry about that. I'll show you the one I've made. So this is the one I've already made, and I'm quite in love with it. I think it's great. This is some of the ephemera from the kit that I've made into a collage. I've used fabric and lace for the background, and then I've added a few trims. And I think it looks quite nice, it's quite stunning. And this one's called It's Always Time for Tea. So I'm using some of the quotes from the kit itself to name the journals, and it is, as you can see, always time for tea. Oh, cup of tea, you just can't beat it. If everybody in the world who had a problem just sat down around a coffee table with a cup of tea and a few biscuits, I'm sure we could sort it all out. Well, you can only wish, can't you? But anyway, this is the cover, and the inside I've used this lovely tea fabric that I had, and this is a quilt fabric, and I just love it, and I've been dying to use it, so yeah, I've used it on this. And then the outside, this fabric, it's an offcut from a haberdashery fabric, and I've got a friend who has a shop, and she makes curtains to order. So when she has like a bag of offcuts that she doesn't want, she'll give them to whoever's, you know, wanting them. So quite a few of her craft buddies have these bags. And I got this one in the last bag that I got off us, so I just had to use it. It's so elegant, and to me, tea time, a proper high tea, is an elegant thing to do. You know, you have your nice little china cups and your little pinky out, and that I always just drink mine out of a big mug. There's nothing elegant about mine. So I'll put this aside and let's get on with this next cover. So I've got all these little scraps of things because I don't know what I want to put on, and I've got a few bits of the ephemera, and I'm just going to just get started. So first of all, I'm using 2 of these envelopes because these ones are quite thin, and it's just, you know, the too thin. I want a little bit more structure to the journal cover itself. The reason being that each journal, even though it's a soft cover, is going to have 2 signatures sewn into it. Now, this is a first for me. I'm sure that there's some spectacularly wonderful, very clever way of doing it. Sorry guys, you're not going to get that from me. You're just going to get the Eileen way. Which is to say, whatever works. But yeah, I was going to make them hardcover, but I kind of like the fabric, and I like the soft cover journals. So I just thought, you know, I'm going to try it and see if it works, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll take them apart and I'll make a different cover. You know, the cover will not come in wrong. I could even like whittle the pages down so that they've only, you know, there's only enough for one single signature. But hopefully we won't have to do that. Hopefully it'll work. The way I'm thinking, it should work. So I'm just gluing these 2 together. They don't fit very well. These, I've got to say, these are cheap envelopes. So I'm not that bothered. But that's still giving enough structure now. Yeah, that's better. It's no good using these if they're very thin, because you're just not getting the structure you need from them. So the fabric has 2 sides. I'm not sure which side, or if it's supposed to be double-sided, but I like this on the outside. I prefer this. It's pretty. It is pretty on the other side, and I could double it up and make that the inside. But I do like my fabric that I've used, and so I'm going to do that. So let's see. Now on this one, I cut it bigger because I wanted to fray the edges. Because if you see, the colours of the cross threads are gold, and then these ones are like a teal kind of green. And so I wanted to show those colours off separately. So I am going to cut it slightly bigger than it needs to be. Now I think width-wise that's fine. I just need to trim down this to get it all straight. I think I'm going to have to trim it this way just a little bit. And let's see. I tried trimming it straight as possible, because when you're fraying something, it's better if it's straight, then you haven't got the tassels longer on one side. So I think I just want to cut a little smidge off this side. So I'm just going to freehand that. The good thing about this fabric is it's got quite a clear weft. Is that the right word, weft? I'm not sure which is which way weft goes, but anyway, you can clearly see the line through the fabric. So I'm hoping that that's what I'm seeing anyway. If not, it's going to go askew. I don't need a great deal cut off, and I am just trying to follow that line. Let's see how we're doing. Probably going to have to cut a little bit more than that off. And it's lovely thick fabric. I mean, I'm loving it. It's probably going to need a bit more than that. Let's have a look and see. Let's measure. Yeah, it's going to need more than that. So I don't want it too far above, because otherwise it's just going to make the journal look teeny inside. So yeah, maybe it's another ½ an inch. So if I cut up to this next little triangle, let's try and keep ourselves straight cutting that way. I'm not the straightest cutter in the world. I used to have very steady hands, and I could cut patterns out without actually having to lay the pattern on. But I'm not as steady as that anymore, and it's been a long time since I've done that. Right, let's see. That's better, because it's going to be frayed, so that's going to take up a good inch or so, well, half an inch or so. So that's okay. So let's get to fraying it. Now, it's very easy, this fabric. I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit so that it's all straight. So like I said, I don't want some of it to be huge amounts of fray and then the top to be nothing. There we go. Right. Now, a good thing about fraying this is if it's pre-frayed, then it's not going to fray anymore, because you'll get it to a point where the fabric's not going to come apart anymore. And that's great, because whoever gets the journal doesn't have to worry about the threads coming off. Because otherwise you would have to use like a glue along the edge, a fray check glue. When you're working with haberdashery fabrics, that tends to be the issue, because they are quite heavy fabrics. They do tend to fray easily. I'm just going to trim this down a bit, just get it all nice and straight before we fray it all up. So yeah, they do tend to fray easily, whereas a closely woven cotton, that's not going to fray very much, unless you want it to. So yeah, it's always a good idea if you're working with haberdashery fabrics, heavy fabrics, try to pre-fray them or put a fray check on them, because you can get that from, I think, from Amazon. Because honestly, a fray check will stop it from being an issue. I know I've had problems in the past when I've made different projects, which is how I know to use the fray check. You can do it with a standard glue if you want to. I would say use something like Fabri-Tac, because it won't show up as much as a normal standard glue. But I know you can get fray check glue. I think I got some from the craft store the last time I was there. I can't remember the make of it, but it's not that expensive, and it's just going to save you projects if you're going to use heavy fabrics, and it stops you from having bits of stuff everywhere as well. Right, now that's frayed nicely. I like that. It is a little bit thicker at that end than that end, but that's not so bad. That's going to be on the back. Let's size it up. I think we could probably get away with a little bit more fraying on the bottom, maybe one more line on the top, just because I want there to be, you know, I want it to have that lovely frayed effect. And this, you know, the golden thread is absolutely gorgeous, and it really stands out in this. And there are golden tones throughout the digital as well, which is really going to make an impact. So let's see, let's get another couple off this. And you can see how it's going to save it from fraying more, because the more you fray it, the more difficult it becomes to pull the threads out, because it gets caught up in the fabric. Right, let's check that. Yeah, I think that's pretty perfect. That's lovely, yeah. And that's going to be a really nice size. Now, where's my fabric? Let's get my fabric. Right. Now this one I'm just going to tear, because tearing a fabric generally means that you're getting a straight line. Just have to stop it from buckling, that's it. So I'm just going to cut the top a little, and don't worry, because I can use this as a trim. So see, I've just created a torn fabric ribbon. Isn't that great? Nothing goes to waste. And I'll probably use that in this project anyway somewhere. I've got lots of ideas to zhuzh this one up. And now, right, let's see. let's get this measured out, because obviously I don't want this to be bigger than the outside. So where's my pencil? I'm just going to make a little mark, because I want it about there, and let's flatten it down, and I want it about there. Right, let's get this cut. Right, you can go away now, and I've still got plenty there to do other bits and pieces with. And then where's our second mark? Let's just straighten this edge out, get the threads off of it. And then our other mark was, there we are, I've got it. Thought I'd lost it there. That would have been good. What about the measure again? Right, there we go. Okay. And then we've got a nice piece there that would, it's about the right size for another journal if we decide to use it in another one, or some other project, of which I've got many going on. So the last time I was talking to you, I was telling you about swimming in the sea and about my saviours, my wonderful saviours, the jellyfish. Well, they deserted me. The jellyfish deserted me, and you know what? I still never figured out how to feed them. But apparently, and I didn't know this, they are quite a delicacy for our dolphins. So of course the dolphins have had a field day, and now there's no more jellyfish. So I'm just praying that they're going to come back, because swim day is today. I'm like, I don't really want to swim in the sea. I know it's good for you, and I can understand, you know, I should do it. I wanted to do it, but oh boy, do I not want to do it. I'm going to grab, is that the right size? I want to put a pocket in. Now in this one I did put a pocket in, and I just used the same fabric as the outside just to create a nice little pocket. I hope you can see that. So yes, I'm going to put a pocket in. So let's see. Let's get ourselves measured up here. And you know what, I actually quite like this. Now this is the bottom of the fabric, so this is where the, you know, the weaver ties it off before the pattern starts, or when the pattern's finished. And I quite like that. It's quite a nice effect. In fact, it might be nice at the top of the pocket. Yeah, it's quite nice there, isn't it? And this is just about, I mean, once I've cut it straight and frayed it a little bit, just about the right size. So let's see, how deep do we want this pocket? Well, the other one wasn't too deep, but I kind of like this one being about here. So if I cut it at the top of that triangle, so let's go. Cut it at the top of this triangle. The good thing about this pattern is that, you know, using the pattern as a measure for the line means that you're pretty much getting it straight. And you'll find that with haberdashery patterns, haberdashery weaving, because the pattern's actually woven into them. So it's not going to be like sometimes a printed pattern, you know, it can kind of, with the bias of the fabric, it can shift a little bit. And there's another nice little ribbon that we can use for something. But with the haberdashery fabric, yeah, it kind of stays where it's meant to be. Right, let's just fray this. And I don't need to fray this too much because it is the pocket, and it's not going to take as much wear as the cover's going to take. So let's just cut this straight up, and hopefully that'll, yeah. So I've got some swimming to do tonight. I went down the other day and put my feet in, and it was blooming freezing. My husband assures me, once you're in, it's fine. You get used to it. But I kind of don't believe that when you see people coming out and running to get the towels while shivering enough that you can hear the teeth chattering. I think he's stringing us along to get me. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm kind of, yeah, I've got that to look forward to. Where's them damn jellyfish when you need them? For the first time in my life, I wish the dolphins would go away. Right, okay, yeah, that's going to make a cute pocket. I'm really liking that, and it's a bit deeper than the other one. I do love this top. Right, let's get this put together. Now, I'm going to put some glue on just to keep things relatively where they should be, and because this is a heavy fabric, you know, I'm going to use a heavier glue, because there's no way a glue stick is going to keep this in place. It's just too heavy for it. So I'm not putting lots on, I just want it enough on that it's going to hold it in place while I sew it, because obviously it needs to stay put, and that should about do. Right, let's position our envelopes. The good thing about this tacky glue is you've got like a short time to rearrange things and get things where they need to be before it actually sets, especially if you're using it on fabric. That looks about good, that looks about good. Okay, that's about good. Now I'm going to use the glue stick on the fabric itself because I don't want big globs of glue coming through. So, and I'm not putting loads on, like I say, I only wanted to keep the fabric in place while I'm sewing it, just enough so that it grips. Right, and this also helps with not having to iron the fabric, which I absolutely hate ironing. Some people love it, some people, you know, ironing is their thing to do. Not so much for me. I can't stand ironing. Not when there's good time for crafting. Who wants to be stood next to the iron when you could be crafting? That's what I want to know. Right, and then the pocket I'm just going to keep in place by holding it. I could put pins through, but it's just going to distort everything and I don't want to do that. Right, I'm going to sew around this, and I'm going to use a little decorative stitch instead of a straight stitch or a zigzag, and I will be back. I'm going to sew it off camera, and then I'll be back and show you what it looks like. Et voila, we now have a cover. And let's just trim these bits of threads off, and that bit, and that just worked out lovely, perfect, and I just love that. And then the outside all nicely sewn round. Now I'm just going to fold it. Now I know it says I'm putting the two signatures in, and I am folding it the way I would for one signature. But don't worry about that because this is malleable, so I can change it. But yeah, there we go. We're going to have our nice signatures in, and then that's going to keep a hold on the pocket. And yes, it's a bit bigger than the signatures, a lot bigger than the signatures, but that's fine. I don't mind that because that means that the cover is really going to protect your junk journal inside. And I like the fact that it's overhanging quite a bit because I want this to have room to grow. So once I've put the two signatures in, it's actually probably going to be more about there. So that's going to be good. That's going to be good. You want room to grow in a journal, and you want room to grow both ways, because sometimes you want to pop long tags in, sometimes you know, your ephemera is going to pop out, or you're going to put fabrics in, and that needs cutting because that's too long. But yeah, there we go. So let's get on with the decorating of this one. So on the other one, I just used a piece of fabric for the bottom. Now another piece of the haberdashery fabric I got is this, and it's a beautiful, I'm not sure what you would call it. It's woven, and it's practically the same as that, but this is a lot thinner. It's not as heavy as that. And what I did, I wanted to keep the ruffled edge, which again is the bottom where it's been woven. So I've just noticed it's got a stain on, so I'm going to cut just below that stain, and then I'm going to make a decorative panel that we can then glue onto the front of the journal. And this one's not so easy to see if I'm cutting it straight, but again I am going to fray this one. I don't know if I've done a very good job of cutting that straight at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's skewiffers out. Yeah, it is. Let's see if it's any easier from this side. I'll tell you what, if I just pull some threads, I'll be able to see. Actually, I don't know, you know, I think it'll be okay. Let's just fray it and we'll see what it looks like. And if it needs trimming, we can trim it. Now, again, I'm fraying this because one, I like the aesthetic, and two, if it's already pre-frayed, it's not going to fray anymore, is it? And that is the hope, because some of these fabrics can fray quite a lot. And when you're not sure what you're working with, because like I say, these are scraps, a damask, I think that's what it's called, a damask, I'm not sure. You know, they can be a bit difficult to work with if you're not sure what they are. I'm used to working with all sorts of fabrics. I mean, I've been sewing since I was old enough to hold a needle. So yeah, I'm pretty good with most fabrics, but there are always them ones that just absolutely drive you nuts. I mean, I remember we used to own a caravan, a little holiday home, and it needed new curtains. So I mean, I was working full-time at the time, and I says to my sister-in-law, will you get me the fabric, because she lived near the fabric place. I says, as long as it's like this colour green and it's a nice fabric. She's got very good taste, so I trusted her judgment, and I says, will you get me the fabric? And she went, yeah, I'll pick it up. And I was like, anything that's not stretchy. I don't want anything that's got a bias stretch. Now, it's okay saying that to someone who knows what you're talking about, but when you're saying it to someone who's never sewn a thing in her life and she doesn't know what a bias is, it kind of doesn't work. So she bought this fabric, and oh my word, I just, oh, the pain of making those curtains was just unbelievable. By the end of it, I was ready to just throw them out. That's the wrong colour, so I'm not going to bother with that. But yeah, they took a piece of my soul with them. that fabric was that bad to sew. I was like, by the end of it, I had my head in my hands. I love this lace, and I think it goes nicely. Yeah, that's lovely. So I want to cut a piece of that off. So where are we? About there. And this is a nice antique lace that I got. Oh, where did I get this from? There's an antiques mall in a town near us, and there's one of the ladies, because it's one of those where there are lots of different stalls or shops within the shop. One of the ladies there, she just deals in antique fabrics and linens and laces. Oh, I like that. That's pretty because it overhangs. Do we want that the other way? Yeah, I think I do, because then that's going to be coming over the front. And yeah, she has some beautiful pieces, so I kind of try and get bits from her when I can. Right, what else do we want? I kind of want, I'm looking at these pieces now. Let's see, they're tab tops, they're no good. I want to use the trims now. I kind of like that blue goes with this, but this goes with the gold, so I think I'll stick with this one. And the card I've picked for this one is the High Tea Party, because I think this book's going to be called the High Tea Party, and I want to do it around about the same way as I've done the other one. So I'll put these pieces aside, and we've got a nice ticket. which could go in the same place. But then I've got this lovely little cat licking the top of the tea, and I'm not sure where I want to put him. So if I kind of put that on a slant, he could sit at the bottom, kind of like that. Yeah, I like that. But it wants, I need something behind it. Let's see, what's this? I'm just pulling bits here and there and looking to see what I've got. I think that would just get lost. It's a nice colour though, isn't it? I might use that inside actually. I'll keep that aside because I might use that inside. We've got other bits of, oh, that's a nice crocheted piece. We could put a piece of that at the top, couldn't we? I will get round eventually one of these days to making a digital out of all these antique laces I've got. Because I keep on using them and thinking, oh, it's going to be gone and I'll have none left. But I will eventually get round to it. I kind of like that, and that shows up there. It doesn't have to all be, you know, in a box. Kind of like the idea of having bits here and bits there. And I do like this pink crochet lace. This is a brand new one, but I've used it on the other cover, and I do like the fact that there's pink in the kit. It's pinks, blues and golds, and I just love that combination. It's just turned out lovely. I've got a little bit of that lace. I'm not sure, I might use a bit of that. Let's put these ones aside. Right, maybe we could put you down here. Can't figure out which way I want it now. Kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's okay. I'm going to pull that one down just a little bit, but I want it to still be proud. There we go. Right. Now, what else do we need? Now we've got these lovely flowers. Could put them along the bottom. No, they don't look right there. Put them up the side. Oh, they look better there. I like that. I like that. And then we've got these other trims. This trim is a it's a, I think it was a floristry ribbon that I got, and it's all woven Hessian. And all I've done is I've cut pieces out, and I have got a piece cut out where I don't know where I've put it. Hold on while I find it. There it is. And I've took the wires out, so there's no wires in it anymore. And isn't that an interesting piece of trim? Now you could go kind of along the bottom. Maybe we could put you that way and have the kitty cat, and then we can just cut it across there. Yeah, I like that idea. So let's cut that there, because it's quite a rough Hessian as well. It's got quite a nice it's very tactile, and you know that I'm a tactile person. So let's put you at an angle and put our little kitty cat back. Oh yeah, and it gives it that little bit of dimension that it needs. And then this piece, now you could put you along the side of there. No, maybe yes, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Right, now let's get these trims off, try and remember where we were going to put them, and then I want to sew all of these into one plate. So let's get the machine out. Now I will do this one on camera because it should only take me a second, and I'm going to use the same thread and same stitch that I've used on the actual book cover. So here goes. Loud noise. Oh, she doesn't like this lace. My husband was asking me what I wanted for my birthday, because my birthday's in oh crikey, it's in a week. Is it a week? It's the 10th of August. No, it's 2 weeks. And I did kind of say, you know, I had a moment of weakness and said, oh, you know, I might like a new sewing machine. I instantly, absolutely instantly felt bad about that. And Betty hasn't been performing the same ever since. I didn't mean it, Betty. Seriously, I'm just stroking my sewing machine. Oh my word, my word. Yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to be nice to her so that she doesn't pack in and not work, because I was asking for a new one. But they've changed my mind now. You know what? She might not have all the decorative stitches that I want, and she might struggle sometimes. But we've been through thick and thin together, haven't we? And she's got another good couple of years in her until she retires. Don't tell her I said that. And she goes to that big sewing machine farm in the sky. Yes, I haven't got any saying while I've been away, people. I'm seriously, yeah. I don't know anybody else who talks to the sewing machine. Am I the only one who talks to the sewing machine? Please comment below and tell me I'm not the only one who talks to the sewing machine. God, can it be? You know, there's got to be other people out there who are as crazy as me. I think it helps. My husband thinks I'm mental. It is an inanimate object. It can't hear you. I'm a shh. You'll upset her. Right, I'm just using the tacky glue to stick this on, because it is for fabric as well. Oh, I've got a little bit there. And it's been pretty good so far, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna hope that it stays good. I'm not gonna bother sewing these bits down. I'm gonna put a little blob of glue underneath them, just because we're going to be gluing ephemera on the top as well, and so they don't really need too much glue, and they don't need to be sewn. So let's just put a little job there and a little dob there, and that's it. That'll do. Right, now I am going to put a little bit along the top here, maybe a little bit there, just so that it stays down there. Just give it a good, really good press down, and then I'm going to do the same on this bit, just because I don't want this flapping up and getting caught, and then, you know, if it was to get caught on something, it might even pull the whole book plate off. Even though this glue is very good, it's not going to survive getting dragged about. There we go. I don't think I need to put any on the side there. I'll see when I glue everything else down. Oh, that lace does look so pretty there, doesn't it? I like that. Yes, it's very pretty. Right, now let's get some things inked up. Just because I like the inking, and plus when you've been cutting out, fussy cutting ephemera from white card, you often get like a white edge on them, and I don't like that. It's just blaringly obvious that it's just being cut out, so I prefer to get rid of that with a little bit of distressing. There we go. So I've just finished work yesterday for my holiday. I have 2 weeks off, which I'm so pleased about because I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted. It's been a long term, this one. And yeah, so I finished yesterday, and I'm really sad. It's kind of bittersweet because I should be in Berlin next week. We had planned 7 days in Berlin for the August Beer Fest, which is a wonderful celebration. And no, it's not just about drinking beer, because I'm not that keen on beer. Though I've got to say, you know, the only beer I will drink is at the Beer Fest, because if anything else, the Germans really do beer well. And and they make this wonderful wheat beer. Oh, it's gorgeous. But the beer fest itself, I mean, look it up online, it's amazing, it's absolutely amazing. There are just thousands of people, and it's a 2 mile long beer festival with, I can't remember how many tents. Each tent is a different brewery or a different pub, or you know, it's run they're offering different things, and you just slowly make your way along, and every like, I don't know, 5 or 10 tents, which is on both sides of the street, there's a stage, and you've got like a band or a group or a singer or someone telling stories, or someone, you know, there's entertainment, and there's like each one, there's probably about 10 to 15 stages all the way along this 2 mile road, and each one has got something different going on. You've got a cappella bands, you've got barbershop groups, you've got rock bands, you've got country singers, you've got 80s bands. There's just so much going on, and it's great. You just grab your beer and you go and sit down on these big massive tables, and the tables are big, because it forces you to sit with people. I mean, obviously COVID now, it's not ideal, but the idea in the past was, you know, you mix with people, and we've met some wonderful people. I mean, absolutely wonderful people. I'm learning German a little bit, so it's nice to meet German people, and like get a chance to try out my German. Not that you find many German people in Berlin who can't speak perfect English better than I can. Put us to shame. They do certainly put us to shame. But yeah, so we met this wonderful German family, and the father unfortunately didn't speak English, but between my bits of German and his son being able to speak English, we managed to have a wonderful conversation, and it was so nice. And then we also met these two lads, and they were traveling the world, I think, and one was from Canada and one was from Australia, and they'd met up in one of the youth hostels, and decided to come to Berlin for the beer fest together. Now I wanted this slightly on an angle, didn't I? So we'll put that kind of like that. I'm going to lose some of that ticket, but that's okay. There. So we sat and talked to them, and then there was this wonderful group of lads, Scottish lads. So funny. They were hilarious, and there's a kind of a little banter. I mean, there's a long history between England and Scotland, don't get me wrong, and I would not like to upset anybody by distracting from that, but it's kind of a bit of banter now. You know, I live in the north of England, and the border between England and Scotland has changed that many times over the years that, you know, I could have easily been Scottish than English, because that's how far the border has changed. And so there's this banter goes on between us. It's so much fun. And these Scottish lads, oh, what a wonderful way. We were singing songs together, we were having a little bit of banter backwards and forwards. You know, we were making jokes out of each other, and it was just so much fun. And yeah, the beer fest is a wonderful thing, and obviously COVID has stopped that. It'll not happen this year, obviously, because of all the restrictions, and I'm really going to miss it, because I think out of the last 4 years I've been to 3. I'm really going to miss it. I mean, Berlin itself, I'm missing like mad. I was going to put that underneath there, wasn't I? I'm absolutely missing Berlin, because we try to pop over when we can, and there's this wonderful vintage second-hand market at Moor Park. I think I've probably mentioned it before in videos, but it's Moor Park, and the park's massive, and you've got the market, and then out the back is this massive big field, and it's kind of like it's got a bank up one side that's kind of like staggered seats and that, but naturally cut out, you know. I don't think it's been built in, and while the market's going on, there are tons of entertainers doing performances out the back. So it really is, it's not just going to the market, it's a day out and it's full entertainment. And a lot of Berliners, that's what they do on a Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, you know. They go to these little, because there's not just one vintage and second-hand market in Berlin. There's about 7. So you could spend the whole day if you wanted in one market, or you could spend the whole day travelling around all the markets, because the travel system's absolutely brilliant. Best public transport system I've ever come across. And so yeah, that was like, that was my ideal, you know. And I found some absolutely stunning bits of ephemera and books and fabrics and all lovely vintage pieces. And yeah, I can't go. It's driving me crazy because I've been saving up money, and I was going to take an empty bag with me to fill up so that I could bring more back, and I was going to have a full video and show you all. And I was even going to do a junk journal of Berlin, because I was going to gather up as much ephemera as I could while I was there, and then I was going to make a Berlin journal. But unfortunately it's all been cancelled. But next year, fingers crossed, let's get this COVID sorted and then I'll go next year. And hopefully, you know, I'll take some videos while I'm there and show you what I get up to and all the wonderful people I meet. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the Beer Fest, you know, I've been to quite a few outdoor happenings, and I've got to say, there's invariably trouble, you know. There's always somebody who gets too drunk and starts trouble, and then the police are called, and it just ruins the day for everybody. I have never even heard a raised voice at the Berlin Beer Fest. Not a raised voice, not a cross word. And like I say, I've been there 3 times now, and it's always been so chilled and relaxed. And it's families, you know, it's not just groups of people or single people, or, you know, it's families go there together with kids. And yeah, listen to me waxing lyrical, I'm just making myself miss it even more. Right, I like that, and that's turned out lovely. You know what it is? It's because I've got this trim. Now this is an antique trim that I got off a friend. Our mum used to do upholstery, and she had quite a few bits of trim left. Just get this bit off there. And she had them in a box, and it was all little bits like this. And she says to me, I'm going to throw them out, do you want them? I was like, of course I do. And so I want to use a little bit of this, but I'm trying to think where. Could I put it up there? I don't think it would look nice there. No. Maybe I'm just going to have to leave this one. I put a little bit there. If we just cut it. So it's just a tiny bit. Yeah, okay, we'll try that. We'll try doing just a little bit. Now the problem with this is, as you can see from the other end, it frays like crazy. So let's just cut that down a bit, and then let's let this fray so that we can get all the long bits out. Right, let's just cut a little bit of that off. We could put it there, couldn't we? Is that going to look nice? You know what, yeah, I'm going to do it. I like it. I love the colour. It's such a rich colour. And then I've still got some of it left. That's good. I love using these things, but then I think if I use them, I'll have none left. But there's no point in holding on to this stuff, is there? Right, now hopefully if I put plenty of glue at this end and that end, it'll stop it from fraying anymore. And it'll act a bit like a fray check. And I'm going to put lots of glue, because I want to make sure this sticks on. It's quite thick, and I don't want it going anywhere, and I don't want it fraying anymore. So that's quite a lot of glue. Let's see if that works. And that's our final piece. Let's just put the top on my glue, and I'm just going to sit and hold this for a minute because it's going to need to hold down well. And then I think we might be done, folks. I think so. Yeah, okay, I'm liking it. What do you think? Do you like it? Put a comment down below and let me know what you think of it. I'm loving it. I think I love this bit of lace up the side. I love this crocheted lace. The digitals, the ephemera is absolutely good. This little cat, he's just got my heart. Lovely. Oh, there, it's come off. It's going to need holding on for a bit longer. Do I have something that can weight it down? Tell you what I do have. I have one of these left. So let's use this. And that should keep it well on. There we go. Right. Hey, they come in handy for other things. Not just for decorating. They've got practical uses too. Okay, right. So, yeah, we've done that, and I'm gonna leave it here because I don't want to rush this one. Like I say, I've already done quite a lot to it, so I'm not going to rush through this journal because, you know, I kind of like the process of working through it with you. And yeah, unfortunately, I just don't have the patience to wait, which is why I ended up doing the other journal cover. Right, okay, so let's have a look at our two covers. So they're very similar, but quite different as well. I mean, you know, we've got different trims on, we've got different bits of ephemera here and here, yeah, and different lace. You know, I've used a different lace on this one than I have on this one, so they're a little bit similar, which they should be because they're both from the same kit. But this one's called the High Tea Party, and this one's called It's Always Time for Tea. Hence, I've got my nice cup of tea. And now I'm going to sit and drink my tea, which is nearly cold now. I might have to go make a fresh cup. And then the next video, we can start looking through the signatures and seeing what work we've got left to do. And if we can, you know, see what kind of ephemera we've got. And then we can work out from there what we need to do. And what we've got left to do, and then we can try. I might have a trial run, you know. I might have a trial run. I don't know. Should I have a trial run or should I just do it on camera and you can have a good laugh? You know what? I'll just do it on camera and you can have a really good laugh. Why not? Why not? Let's just, you know, I'm a fly by the seat of the pants girl. Why not just give it a go and try? Okay, that's what we'll do. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's really, really nice to be back with you. I have so missed you, and I've so missed crafting with you, and it's just not the same when I'm not talking to you, and you know, it just doesn't feel the same. So I'm so pleased that all the issues are sorted now, and now I'm back and we can make these lovely journals together. And then we've got so much more planned in the future, and honestly, I have just got a list as long as my arm and it never gets shorter, so that's good. Yeah. It'll keep me going. Anyway, you've got to keep coming back because this next 2 weeks I'm going to be really sad because I'm missing Berlin, I'm missing the German people, I'm missing me Beer Fest, I'm missing Moor Park, I'm missing me vintage shopping. So you've got to come and keep me company. Cheer me up. And tell me about your like fun stories from holidays or favourite places that you like to go. Put them down in the comments because I love reading them. And even when I don't have loads of time to answer, you know, I am reading every single comment, and it really means a lot to me. It really cheers me up. So put some comments on and tell me about your stories, and tell us if you want me to tell them on the channel, and I will. Believe me, I will. I love telling stories. So if you've got stories to tell me, oh, there's the dog barking. Somebody must be home. So if you've got stories to tell me, you know I'm going to tell them to others. Unless you don't want me to. Right, so I'm going to stop waffling. Because I've waffled enough. Can you tell I'm glad to have you back? So, right. Yes, if you've liked this video, please do pop a like on. Please subscribe. I'm starting to grow in numbers, and I'm really, really glad. So please subscribe if you enjoy it, and come back for more of the creativity and more of the madness, because there's plenty of both. Take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and happy crafting. Bye.